Louisiana, it was Katrina that I covered, and to see this and to see that 3 days of rainfall has totally just ruined people's lives and a deadly situation as well. We've already known that multiple people have died as a result of these floodwaters. It's just really heartbreaking to see. We're looking at a house here on the right-hand side where water is literally almost up to the top of the door, and it doesn't look much better anywhere else we're going. I mean, we're sitting here looking at these other houses here. This one doesn't appear to be as bad, but again, you see water has completely swallowed up this home as well. We see people's vehicles. There's a truck right up ahead that is swamped. They obviously left it here in their driveway next to their home. And again, here on the left-hand side, you're looking at a house and a truck. And then here on the right-hand side, you can see a house that's swallowed up as well.
That's their mailbox.
We're driving down the street in an airboat. We see street lights, speed limit signs. This is somebody's street, and these are people's front yards that we're going through, only accessible by boat at this point. So we're driving through here. We're looking for people who need help. If you were watching us and you see us coming through in this area, there's plenty of room on this airboat. Just flag us down, and we are more than willing to stop and pick you up out of your home. I mean, this is just an unprecedented situation that has destroyed lives, and again, just the utter devastation. Looking at this from our vantage point, we're getting a true full-on scope of just how much damage there is, and I can tell you right now, the recovery and the cleanup will take weeks and days to come. JP and Margaret?
Hey, Chris, these are incredible images. You're doing a fantastic job. You and the boat operators, it is just amazing. We're seeing what you're showing us, and then we're seeing some of it from the air, and it is, like you said, it really gives you a view of the scope of the magnitude of this flood, and how great a flood this is in terms of the number of homes, the amount of water, and that kind of thing. But wow, I mean, look at the size of these homes in the wind, and they're completely surrounded by water. As Chris was saying, the water is, 3/4 up the way of the windows there. Trucks, just like we saw in some of these other subdivisions, trucks just parked there. It's almost like they didn't think it was going to flood.
I guarantee you there are people downstream who don't think it's going to flood.
The hope is,
like Robert said, we're dealing with...
The hope is that these people were able to get out of their homes in time to make sure that they weren't trapped, because ultimately now the only way out of this subdivision is by boat, unfortunately. These roads are completely impassable. I mean, we're driving on streets. I mean, we're seeing street lights right here, and you can look at just the size of these homes. I mean, they're massive homes, just swallowed up by the rising Bayou Manchac, and everybody is affected by this. You sit here and you look at the utter devastation that we saw in Zachary, in Central, in Livingston Parish, and all of that water again is coming south, and this is what we're seeing now, swallowing up, lower parts of East Baton Rouge Parish along with Ascension Parish. We're in Ascension Parish now in the Bayou Manchac subdivision, and we see this person here on a boat. It appears that they just left out of their home, but you can see water completely swallowing up the front porch of their house, and it's clearly inside their home as well. Probably, I'd say, at least 2 to 3 feet up their front door that we're looking at right now.
Chris, did you just say you saw people trying to leave that house?
This devastation.
I'm not sure he can hear me over there, but did you say you just saw people trying
we're looking at it right now. We see people here on a boat right now. They're flagging us down, so we can go over there and see if they need.
Yeah, I think you better go.
Yes, we're going over there right now to see what they need. Certainly, that is what we are doing right now. I do not know what street we're on right now, but we are...
Ask the resident, he'll know.
Or if that's his house or behind him.
He is asking us not to make a wake. We're going very slow right now. I mean, obviously the water is already in people's homes, but, these people, the only way they can get to their homes is by boat. We're looking over here, it looks like there's dry land over here to the right-hand side that you're looking at right now, that is where people are launching boats to go into this area to try to see if people need help in this subdivision, because clearly the only way you can get out right now is by boat. There's no way you can walk. Obviously swimming would be way too dangerous due to the magnitude of how much water is back here right now at this point.
And we should point out that we've emphasized a couple of times during the course of the broadcast this morning, and now that we're into the afternoon, that the wake of a boat or a car can push water into a house that hasn't been flooded. But our crews, we just want to let the public know, our crews are being very, very judicious about not creating any more damage than already exists.
Yeah, and I think when they get with those boat operators like Chris is, the boat operator lets them know, yeah, we can take you, but we're not going to go to the area where we're going to jeopardize or try to potentially flood any home that maybe already has some flood water, but send any more flood water into it. But there you see, apparently these are some of the residents of this area. It's just incredible, incredible damage. And now the boat operator's talking.
Truly catastrophic flooding in Santa Maria, Manshap Place, some of these areas right off of Old Perkins Road.
We're talking to folks right now, and they're telling us that a couple did not want to leave their home, and so we're going to go try to check on them to see if they're okay. Some of these people here are telling us that the water markers that they put in their house, it looks like the water is kind of leveled off at this point. Let's talk to this homeowner right now. Sir, you're live on Channel 2 right now. You live back here, and you were marking the water. Have you seen it kind of level off right now? When you see this utter devastation, have you ever seen it flood back like this before, back here?
No, we haven't. We've been back here in '83 was the worst, and we were 1.5 feet above the '83 level, and it's now a 1.5 feet above that.
Can you tell me what street we're on right now?
Yeah, this is Plantation Court Drive in Bellgrove.
And tell me this, I overheard you saying that there's a couple in one of the homes back there that refused to leave.
Well, they may have. We don't know yet. We checked on them, and but there is a couple that said they were just trying to stay. Now, there is one more couple who live next to me that are staying, but believe it or not, they still have electricity.
Wow. So is their home flooded, or are they're upstairs, so they just don't want to leave. They want to stay there to clean up once the water goes down? That's their reasoning.
They just want to stay there. And they're good. They know they can leave because the neighbors have been welcoming, letting everybody stay with them and stuff, so they're okay. The other couple that's down the road, we hope, is left. They can get out.
When you look at what this community has endured over 3 days of rainfall, and then it just amounts to this, just swamping people's lives and homes, I mean, what do you make out of that?
I'll tell you this, the only thing you can do, if you don't have faith and believe that everything will be okay, I don't know what you do. It's kind of shocking. But when you have that, you know it's going to be okay. It's just stuff. And people get out the important things, and the rest of it, I tell you what's really great. It's like you say what you want to about the people. When things are people stay together, and that's an enjoyable thing. It's not a devastating thing. It's an enjoyable thing. So while we've got some problems to deal with, the fact socially is that, hey, that's a good thing.
Let me ask you this. I see you on a boat. Your attitude and your resiliency, just to overcome this adversity that so many people are dealing with right now is really incredible. And so many of our viewers, I'm sure their hearts are breaking for you guys right now. But you guys are on boats, and I imagine you've been able to go through this whole area. Have you been able to check to see if there are other people who are trapped in their homes?
Yes, let me tell you something. There's been a lot of that going on here around here. People have been checking with each other. And like I said, we know where everybody else is. And I'm just not sure about this one couple that are down here, whether they decided to leave or not. I was told they didn't, and we're going to check on them. In fact, another guy's already checking in.
What do you guys need right now? I mean, obviously, you can only get here by boat, but I mean, what do you guys need?
I'll tell you, what really comes to need, what we need is fewer sightseers. And I'll tell you why, is that it's not just water outside. When you've stacked your stuff up, what happens is a wave that goes, the smallest wave goes in a house, it causes the floors to buckle. If you have wooden floors or something else, and all of that causes stuff to fall over. So we just ask people to be conscious. I know people want to see what's out here and see how bad things can be, but just be conscious that it's the smallest amount of waves and water movement have a big effect on us. And right now, that's all you can do.
During 1983, you said you lived back here back then and it did flood. How high was it? You said it's about 1.5 feet over that level?
Yeah, where this gentleman's was a gentleman right here's house, it was about 18 inches below the top of that, that 1983. I didn't need to get water up to that, yeah, water went to the river, that river.
And you're completely flooded out now.
In 1983. But I've got 4 inches in there now.
This gentleman, I don't know if you could hear him because we have another airboat coming here. He said in 1983 he didn't get any water in his home. You're looking at a picture of it right now, his front porch, and he has over 2 feet of water in his house right now. Again, they're saying one of the big problems that they're having is a lot of people who are trying to come in here are sightseers as opposed to the major rescue crews who are coming in to try to save some of these people here, and they don't want people who are sightseeing to be pushing lakes into their homes because they're already flooded, but it's causing even bigger issues, as the gentleman was saying, with floors buckling and things like that. In 1983, sir, how long did it take for the water to recede?
Remember that? It was about 3 days.
You could be possibly dealing with this for 3 days or more.
I think by Friday, maybe it's like
He's expecting to be dealing with this type of flooding in his home till at least Friday, is what he was saying. If you couldn't hear him, again, just the scope of this devastation is unimaginable. I mean, we're looking at it right now. Were you guys able to pick up your stuff and move it to higher ground?
and then whatever else is left in there, I'm just gonna put it in the dump. And we're gonna put it in a dump. Throw it. It ain't no way. I had to make me I wanted to say,
What's up, baby?
Did you guys have an inkling that you were going to flood, or did this?
One guy, okay, first off, it was fine, go.
Hey, you want to say it on the video?
Huh.
Alright, we have a traffic update from here in Zachary. Apparently people have not learned their lessons.
No, I went to the gas station real quick to go pick up some cigarettes as we were completely out. And going to the store was not an issue, but coming back from the store, I had a person next to me trying to get over into me. If I sped up, he sped up. If I slowed down, he slowed down. Then I finally get to be able to turn on the main highway to head back to my house, and some asshat in a fucking pickup truck just decides to get from the middle lane all the way over into my lane and cut me off. Then I'm coming down my road, I got a guy on his cell phone in my lane. I had to honk the horn to get him to straighten out and not fucking hit me head on. And then I got this lady behind me on my ass on her cell phone swerving all over the road. Not to mention that I almost drove off the road because a frickin' domino spider was in my hair from fixing the air conditioning.
I'm about to get a big old sign and say, drive like a fucking adult. And just go, hold it up on the side of the road.
Yeah, I just had a domino spider in my hair and almost drove off into the ditch because it scared the crap out of me when it started crawling on my shoulder. Dead in my car somewhere.
Alright, so sorry about the failure to pan the camera back over so y'all could see both sides of the screen. I was actually having a conversation with, let me block out his number, Boylan. So, yeah. Me and Matt Powerland was talking about the true causes of flat earth and whatnot, and I'm kind of waiting for him to not repent, but take his message to the next level so we can actually do some good with it, because round or flat, the same things need to happen, don't they? And then we can all go exploring. Okay, so I'm going to turn the volume back on here and we can see what Chris Nakamoto is saying. Chris, if you could, buddy, comment and let us know how your house is doing. We heard that the water was rising around your neighborhood. So
we're thankful that your wife and your son got out safe before the water started rising.
Send us a message when you get to a computer, buddy.
that gentleman, you probably couldn't hear what he was saying, but he was saying that as we're looking at the current and looking at the leaves, it's moving this way towards the houses. So that means the water is still coming in, even though it's kind of leveled off in the houses, because they're seeing kind of the debris and the water moving this way. It means it's going into their homes and the water is still coming up. So the water has to be stagnant. It has to be still for them to have any sort of confidence that the water is leveled off and that they won't continue to see the water here increase to a level that will maybe flood out homes that haven't flooded yet. So again, I mean, this is just utter devastation here in the back of the Manchac Plantation subdivision. Many of these people say that, you know, they built after 1983 and made sure that they were high enough, and it appears that that was not high enough. So again, we're just out here in this subdivision documenting this historic flood event as people continue to try to save their homes and just deal with what they can to protect their lives as well. JP or Margaret?
Hey Chris, fantastic job. You're bringing it home right there. I can tell you what, that is some amazing pictures, some amazing testimony from those residents.
All right, so we have another breaking news story. Shit. And of course, I'm holding my wife's phone, so that's gonna happen. Just fucking do it. Don't trust me with it.
All right. So this gentleman, Charlie Cangalosi, his boat, after he's been helping everybody, going and rescuing, his boat was stolen out of his driveway. These are the numbers, the license number on the boat, and the number side on the boat.
Chris, keep an eye out for this boat, man.
This is what the boat looks like with the Yamaha motor on the back of it. If you guys see it, contact the authorities, because this boat was stolen out of this man's driveway while he's trying to help get people out. So if you guys see it, contact the authorities.
Or just kick the shit out of them and fucking take the boat.
Yeah, that too.
No, don't do that. Call the authorities, and unless you're a trained professional. In which case, kick the shit out of them and take the boat.
In Gardier, and so all of this now is just accessible by boat. So we're heading in that direction. You know, normally that would take probably a long time to snake through Baton Rouge roads, but because everything is now just accessible by boat since Bayou Manchac has overflowed its banks, it appears that it would be pretty easy to get to. What
As the trout flies.
People may need some help.
All we heard was move that direction. We don't know exactly what the details are yet.
Chris, can you get there by water?
Some of the people from the state, as we
They're tripping out.
we can get there by water, correct?
We could. It'll probably take too long. We're going to go back over here, load up a couple of boats, and get an escort, and make our way through there as quick as we can.
Okay, so
Another
what we're gonna do is
announcement.
we're going to go back to the fairgrounds, and they're going to load the boats back up, and then they're going to try to just hurry them over in that area to see where I guess people are getting rescued. What are you hearing, sir?
We got to shift some boats to intersection of Gardier and Burbank. There's the water's coming up pretty quick, so they want to.
That's a poor area.
With some boats.
That's just a bunch of apartments there.
Trapped in that area?
No, they just said the water's coming up high, and they want to be prepared to get them out.
So no reports of people trapped at this point, but they said the water's coming up high, and they want to have boats stationed there in case they're needed. But again, we're here in the Manchac Place subdivision, and if we can look over here, Joe, here at this home, right over here, it looks like some people are on their front porch, and it appears that they're trying to move out some furniture. We see what appears to be a bed frame on a boat as they try to clear it out. But you can see there's probably, I'd say, maybe at least 12 inches of water inside that home. Again, it looks like a relatively
Really, y'all trying to
newer
get
home,
stuff?
And the newer homes had to be built above that
That's
1980s.
probably-
It's stuff, man.
But that's probably the bed that their great-great-grandparents built. Look at that. You don't find that in a store. That's memories people are trying and their history they're trying to save.
A high amount of water in it.
You can't go to a store and
again,
find a
this is
headboard
just
like that.
something is of
Yeah.
historical magnitude for this area.
Just a quick
And we're
update
looking
for the
at
residents
these
of Zachary.
pictures of,
Zachary Community
water
Schools are going to be
submerging these
closed for the
homes.
rest of the week
And
this
it's,
week.
It is a sight
Oh,
to see.
oh,
Sorry.
what, baby?
Zachary Community Schools just posted on Facebook, the Zachary Community School District will remain closed through this week. Administrators are currently conducting assessments of our community, staffing, and resources. We will have additional information in the coming days. So Zachary parents, your kids are out of school all this week. I'm pretty sure we just used up all our hurricane days for the year.
And that's probably going to go for all these parishes, all these areas. Because we got the first of it, but we did not get the worst of it.
You know, Bayou Paul, so in many ways they're all interrelated, but like we're seeing here, that's amazing. These people have built their homes above the 100-year flood, and then all of a sudden they have to deal with the 500-year flood, you know, so many years later.
But again, I kind of want to hit home this point. They're redeploying these boats from where they are, which is already flooded, to Gardier and Burbank. Somebody must think that there's going to be an issue there.
Yeah.
I think people really ought to at least be prepared, be thinking about what you might do if water starts coming up.
Yeah, as Colonel Edmondson always says, when the hurricane season rolls around, get a game plan.
Yeah.
Get a game plan, get an evacuation plan together, get some of your personal documents. What is that? That looks like a snake. Almost looked like a snake that was going through the water there.
I'll tell you what, if you've covered floods, and I know you have, you see snakes, you see nutria, you see huge floating piles of red ants, fire ants looking for high ground.
Yeah,
If
fire
not
ants.
water, you want to be.
Fire ants, for those of you that don't know, can link together and form a raft and just float away.
Here, I'll show y'all some fire ant damage right there.
Yeah,
That's from that wasn't from wading around in the water. That was from going out and refraining from knocking that little midget senseless.
But yeah, fire ants can.
Yeah, he was 5'7", 5'8", maybe. He wasn't a midget, but you know, compared to me, he's a midget. Anyway.
We're in these floodwaters, just trying to stay safe as well.
Chris, are you going to stick with those guys when they change locations and go over to Burbank and Gardier and see what's going on there, or are you going to stay on that side of town around the airline?
Yeah, we're going to try to stick with them and see if we can see what they see over in that vicinity as well.
No, Tiger Stadium's
Chris, we haven't got any reports yet of what's going on there, but it's perhaps
like
what you guys saying is you know, they're going over there.
Perkins, the Biomedical Research Center. But I could be
wrong. There are
wrong.
some subdivisions right along that area in Burbank and Gardier.
Because that's that area, Burbank and Gardier and all that runs right behind the Pennington Biomedical
They're going to
Center.
have some problems over there as well.
I know I was at Highland turning onto Burbank Saturday afternoon, and the water there, and I think that's Bayou Fountain that crosses under that little bridge, that was already kind of lapping.
Look at the water rushing around this house right here.
So, you know, as a point of reference,
That helicopter or drone that they're using isn't getting a good feed.
You see on the left side of your screen, that's our helicopter shot, Mark Armstrong, the shot froze, but he was in Walker, that was I-12 in Walker. You can see just the devastation throughout Livingston Parish, lots of floodwaters there. Well, scenes just like this in Ascension.
Yeah, it's you know, it's grim for these subdivisions where water's up halfway up the house. You know, I mean,
anybody who's been following this channel might have noticed that after my little tirade there, they've been having their little notes and been coordinating rescues from the desk. Good job. And we have some breaking news from the Kira desk.
Live from the local Kira desk. Baton Rouge is reporting that Verizon is offering all people, regardless of carrier, access to their stores for free charges to charge their phones, free internet service, and they're allowing people to make free calls at all four of their Louisiana locations. 2 in Baton Rouge, 1 in New Iberia, and 1 in Lafayette. Baton Rouge, you're looking at 3131 College Drive. The hours are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. See if I can get that. The corporate drive address from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. New Iberia, 1104 East Main Street from 10 to 7. And Lafayette is 3201 Louisiana Avenue from 10 to 7. They're also asking customers use text messages as opposed to calling because of high demand. And this offer follows on the heels of major outages that were reported by AT&T throughout the area. And at a press conference on Sunday, state officials said AT&T added 11 towers.
All right, we're gonna see what this is.
It's that new area where they have all those shops and restaurants and that kind of thing, and you can see it's just become an ocean.
Oh, that's
It's hard to tell if that's gone down any over the last day.
That's a strip mall.
Was a strip mall.
Oh my
A
goodness.
brand new one at that.
Brand new one.
Looks dry.
There's the interstate. I actually see a truck that's pulled over to the side of the interstate. Perhaps he had to stop it because it had gotten so high and he couldn't go. Then either side of I-12, the amount of water by Jubilee Crossing. There you see some of these fields there, some of those farms over in that area, some of the kind of a rural area south of the interstate.
That looks like aquaculture.
That's
And
Jubilee.
you
That's all
can see
the new
some
stuff they just built up
water
and down.
Still on the interstate, but
So this is
Got
done.
a field full of blue water over there.
It's an appreciable amount, yeah.
This is Denham Springs. This is the brand new
This is,
Jubilee
this is
crossing that
Mark
they've been
Armstrong.
building up.
He's
They
in a
just
helicopter
actually
and
opened this
he's shifted
interstate
and flown
access
north,
about a year ago.
Flown over areas like Port Vincent and French Settlement. Now he's in the Walker area of Livingston Parish.
Brand new construction, took years.
Hit real hard
Yeah.
by the Amy
A lot of
River,
years and a lot of pissed off residents who had
flooding
to drive
there,
through that
record
area.
flooding, surpassing the great flood of 1983 by more than by some 5 feet, and you can see the result. There's just widespread flooding throughout Livingston Parish. You've seen Walker now believe they're headed over to Denham Springs. It's going to be real interesting to see Highway 16 in Denham Springs with the antique district and that. We understand that was all underwater as well.
And Range Road was completely submerged yesterday, so we'll see if that has perhaps gone down a little bit, which would be encouraging. But, you know, again, we're going down in some places, coming up in others. So
Also,
it isn't over yet, for sure.
I'm seeing another post for those of you who are not in the area or those of you who are in the area who are wanting to donate money. Be very careful of GoFundMe sites that have in no way associated with themselves with here. Apparently there's a GoFundMe account that was started by a gentleman in Canada and he has no contact information listed and does not mention the name of the Baton Rouge organization that he's working with directly. So unless you go to a GoFundMe page and there is contact information and they specifically list organizations within the area that they are working with, don't
do GoFundMe, period.
Donate to the
Okay?
Red Cross.
When you find a charitable organization, their website, you know, from something on TV, from somebody that you trust, okay? And then their website tells you to go to a GoFundMe page, then go to a GoFundMe page. If you know somebody personally, or you know, go to their GoFundMe page. Do not go on GoFundMe looking for people to donate to down here. Because we learned after Katrina, it ain't nothing but fucking carpetbaggers on there. Okay? Scallywags. Yes, I said it.
Fly across the interstate there, and he'll take us up range. And then that will really show us the scope of the flooding that as we get up to Range and then Florida Boulevard and then River Road. But that's Bass Pro, and as you can see, the entire area around Bass Pro
man.
is underwater.
You know, we've been kind of focusing on
Time to go fishing now.
damage, but think about
Yeah, and y'all,
for a moment,
Bass Pro
the
Shop had a
Bass Pro,
giant
the Jubilee
lake
crossings, the
for people to
restaurants,
test
the-
out
the
boats and
stores.
stuff
How many
before they
people
bought them.
are
So that lake has
employed,
overflowed,
at
obviously.
these establishments, and they're being unable to go to work for some period of time. While
They didn't know they bought that lake on a buy one get one free
that
sale.
is a serious economic factor in an event like this, in addition to the damage that people have at their own homes.
Okay, now I think we're flying into
That looks like
Denham
Range,
Springs.
maybe.
There is Range.
Oh,
Look at
damn.
the amount of water.
Oh,
Wow.
damn.
Now, I remember in 1983 riding up this very road, and the water
Well,
stretched
Chick-fil-A's
all
sitting
the
on
way
high
to
ground.
buildings, the very first tier of buildings to either
Oh,
side.
Petco's, all
There
the
was
pet stores.
an Asian restaurant there. It had water in it. Some of these buildings had water.
Gee, that looks like cars right stranded in the middle of the road.
That's
like the
exactly-
one
that's
came up
exactly
while
what
people
it
were driving.
This,
Can somebody get to the Petco right there and check for dogs and cats? Lizards? Seriously? Like there's probably a bunch of animals in there starving to death.
flooding here, I'm going to say it's fair to say that the flooding here is twice as much. It seems twice as wide as it was back in 1983.
Let's let Robert jump in here. And does this match up with what you're seeing on all the charts with the cresting and falling of the?
Yeah, with the Indian at Denham Springs,
Yeah.
it seems to it crested for a while and it's falling very slowly. And so even as it falls, I mean, it's still, I believe it's still above the point where it set the record in 1983. I believe it's still above that point. It's close to it, but it's falling, and it'll be a while before it actually goes below flood stage, and that'll be tomorrow. So then you're left with, you know, this water in the street. How long is it going to take for this to drain out? And
are you surprised a little bit to see cars stalled out right in the middle of the street? It's almost as if people were driving and the water came up so quick.
That's exactly what happened.
They tried to navigate through water that was a little too deep and got stuck.
There's several reasons. I mean, yeah, there's that. They didn't expect that to happen, and then water just kind of started rushing in. They were under a flash flood. Well, actually, they were under a flash flood emergency. And I mean, the weather didn't seem too bad. It really wasn't raining terribly. And, but the reason that this started flooding is because of the river. So even though, no, it wasn't raining anymore, there were a lot of people on the interstates and a lot of people driving. And I know we tried to convey the message, and then, you know, emergency management tried to convey the message, you know, don't drive unless you absolutely have to. But, you know, outside it didn't look too terrible. So.
But these also could have been people trying to evacuate, like leaving subdivisions saying, let me get out of here, and then they're on Range Road, and hello, the water comes in.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, it's under the flash flood emergency and even the flash flood warning, you know, it's hard to tell exactly where the water is, but I mean, they try to get out, I guess, but you're right, it just caught up with them.
Well, here's some good news. At least this part of Denham Springs, it looks like it's high and dry. That they didn't have quite the flooding even down there.
Is that Florida?
Yeah, that's Florida Boulevard.
It does seem to be a little bit lower. I mean, I saw
Got some oceanfront property in Denham Springs.
This is a Florida Boulevard as you get in.
Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with the area, this is a map of the greater Baton Rouge area. And as you can see, Denham Springs is basically our Metairie, you know, to New Orleans. It's basically like all one big city, really. Like there's a little bit of country-ish between, but that's only in certain parts. There's some parts of the city that just connect all the way through, like Florida Boulevard. So here's up where we are, and the water went this way to them. And the water is basically right here now. And speaking of donations that you can trust, and we don't discriminate against news channels here, we very much like Channel 9 too. 2 just has a better signal out here right now. But Channel 9 does have, is that WAFB?
Yes.
WAFB Channel 9 has South Louisiana flood relief on their website. I'm sure you can go to WBRZ's website, okay? And in fact, WAFB and WBRZ, what's the other, the Fox station? The local news channels here are the only place that you should be going to find links for who to donate to.
brproud.com is channel 33.
BR Proud, as in Baton Rouge Proud.
Fox44news.com is also our local Fox station.
Okay, so any one of those sites will have, I guarantee it, I don't even have to look, I already know it, they're going to have a list of places you can donate to that will be reputable. Do not go to GoFundMe, do not listen to random websites and Facebook posts. If you want to donate, go to WBRZ.com, WAFB, find a local Baton Rouge news station, okay?
WBRZ.com, WAFB.com, brproud.com, Fox44.com.
Alright, now back to this.
Dogs. There you see some of the large houses that are not far from the river. Ones that actually, a lot of people, you know, it's their little slice of paradise. They live out on the river, they love it out there, and they jack their houses up, build them up on pilings and stilts, and as the guy said, over
just like we do.
Place, you know, I measured it up past the 100-year flood, and I put it up a foot and a half above that, so I should be safe, right?
And he's got 18 inches of water in his house.
Oh,
I
man.
haven't seen the calculations yet, but you know, I've been hearing the 500-year flood thrown around, and I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, it was a very unique storm, and it takes everything just met. You know, you had everything to just, it kept that storm there over the same spot, just training water, rain, thunderstorms, and this is what you get.
We
So.
spoke to Jason I guess about an hour ago, John, and he sounded exhausted. He's been up for days. His deputies have been out there rescuing people, plucking people off of roofs. They rescued 200 people from the area where they had gathered and shared resources. And I think they were still in the process of getting those people out, were they not? The 200 that gathered in one little spot. You know, in the days ahead, we're gonna hear stories of heroism, that just people rose to the occasion and did what they could to get through this.
Yeah, and that was in the Grays Creek area where people had all gathered in one area, and they went in there and they wouldn't leave. They stayed with each other to make sure that they all had proper food and medication.
They had handicapped and ill people with them.
They weren't going to leave them behind.
Medically fragile people, and they all worked together to make sure that everyone got out.
It just doesn't end.
No, it doesn't. It goes on and on. And we unfortunately we saw Chris Nakamoto in an airboat in a whole other section of a whole other parish, and it's just as bad there as it is here.
Okay, here we go.
Those look like city vehicles or commercial rental vehicles. I think those were city vehicles.
Kevin, is that
State
part of
vehicles
Florida?
or something.
And that's over the river. You're getting closer to the river. Yeah, that's the Amite River. Look how high it's gotten right under the bridge of Florida Boulevard.
I know as the water rushed in just south of here,
See, look,
a hangar that was basically two of our local police rescue helicopters got flooded before anybody could launch the helicopters.
I can't tell what area this is, but you're coming out off the river. Are we coming into Baton Rouge? This is not far from where Michael Vincento was earlier. You're going to come in, you get into the Stevendale area. That's the church. Actually, that's the church we were seeing in that long shot looking in the flooded area of Florida
So
Boulevard
this is
yesterday.
headed towards Sherwood Forest,
Yeah.
or the Flannery Road
You're going
area.
to see that area, that Ponderosa area. Ponderosa cuts right into here, and that's where Michael Vincento was touring earlier.
Where there was devastating flooding there that we saw this morning. I'm sure that water has not yet gone down. This looks a little drier than this one. You know, it's funny how not funny, but it's interesting to me that you see areas that are a little bit higher where there's not water, and then just a very short way down the road, because the elevation drops a little bit, it's horrible, devastating flooding.
Yeah, what happens is you have these canals, these canals that will feed into some of these other canals that feed into the river, and what happens is what y'all been talking about for the last few days is backwater flooding. When the river, the water doesn't have any place to go, it just pushes it all back into that, there you go, there's some of those areas that have flooded into these canals, and it floods these places that are along the canals. But there you see water now. This is East Baton Rouge Parish, and apparently there are some of those areas that have flooded over by Ponderosa and Sherwood Forest.
So this is where they're going right here.
They had
Right along the
Brett Buffington interviewed a guy the other day.
Denham Springs I-12 corridor, right there.
Like this, and he lived off of Flannery Road, not far from Sherwood Forest, and here we go. You see some of the flooding there, and there's the cars and trucks that are stopped on Florida.
Oh no, my fingernails are dirty.
Michael was this morning,
I'm a man.
And that's what happens when you got to go outside and clean up from the flood.
The marks on the inside
Get your air
and outside
conditioning
of
working
the
again.
automobiles.
Because it's seized up.
Sorry, for those of you who don't know why that's funny, there's this guy who calls himself Lord Stephen Christ, and he likes to get on my comments and tell me my fingernails need to be cut and manicured and stuff.
And there, is that that's the All-Star Nissan where he was earlier this morning. It was completely surrounded by water yesterday.
Oh my God,
and he showed us
that's
that a lot
Florida?
of water had come to the undercarriage. of the
Wait,
cars.
hold up.
I don't know. I have no idea if any of the vehicles were actually damaged.
That's-
The water's actually gone down.
They were really high up on
That's
the
right by Richard's Honda where I used to work.
That's right by where I work.
Didn't look good.
And here you go. You see more of those flood waters that have yet to go down. Is big truck that we've been watching for the last few days, that white truck? Yeah. Remember the truck that was kind of turned?
Yes. We're using that kind of as a gauge for how much the water had risen or fallen.
And then somewhere along
Must
in
be
here,
getting up to Sherwood Forest.
yeah, somewhere along this here is where he turned off to go down into that Ponderosa area where the water was really deep. We estimated perhaps maybe even 7 or 8 feet deep. And up the side of those houses, and actually you can see the water line, the water mark where the water had dropped as the flood waters went down.
And this road is still closed,
Here you go.
isn't it?
That's it right there. You see this area,
Yeah.
these houses?
I do.
That's where he was.
But Florida's still closed. Those are rescue vehicles, I believe, that we're seeing on there. I don't think anybody can actually use that road.
Yeah, I know it was closed up to where they were yesterday, but now it looks like parts of it are open because it is high and dry right here. Doesn't look like there's flood water there. But he's headed, actually, he's made a U-turn and he's headed back toward Denver Springs, where he's going to give us another look at that flood school.
Let me tell you something. To all law enforcement, state officials, federal officials who might happen to catch this video, we need to swarm National Guard into this city, or we are provoking an invasion. I know you understand what I'm saying. Don't think I'm going too far. I know stuff you don't know, okay? By not controlling this situation, you are basically effectively giving Russia, giving Putin all the strategy exercises he needs. They're going on right now. He's analyzing weaknesses. And if you think he's thinking about sending uniformed troops, you are sorely mistaken. Because guess what? The troops are already on the ground. I guarantee you. Little green men saying, we're local.
Probably going to still stay there, but it'll eventually drain out soon.
Well, but you got Beaver Bayou there that was a big problem, and that's backwater flooding from the Comey that goes into Beaver Bayou and floods places like Winchester, Comey Estates, and all those things. We saw the water come up to the eaves of some of the houses in there, just like it did back in the 90s, just like it did back in 1983. And look at this. There's some of the flooding percentages.
Fuck CNN.
And that a lot of the homes that are in backwater
Notice how they're only...
subdivisions.
CNN's showing an aerial shot and they're zoomed in on one little spot that's half dry and half flooded. I noticed they're showing all these shallow areas where cars are driving through. That ain't what this looks like, people. I want everyone in the world to know that this is not cars driving through, people getting picked up because their houses are damaged. Most of these houses are flooded up to their freaking doorways. I mean, to the tops of their front doorways, if not all the way up to their roofs. Okay, these are businesses and these are highlight areas that you see people on the ground filming. Okay, but in all the residential areas, you know, like the places where lots of people actually live, they're getting it really bad. We really should be knocking on rooftops right now, because some of the people, the water raised so high, they might be stuck in their attics right now. Just like it was in Katrina. And it doesn't seem to me like they're doing roof knocking. They're just passing by waiting for people to come out their houses. And I guarantee you some people are in their freaking attics right now.
Private residences, schools, school buses. How big an insurance claim is this looking to be?
Yes, well, I can tell you that as of yesterday, State Farm, which is the largest home and auto insurer in the state of Louisiana, we are reporting more than 4,400 claims so far. That's home and auto combined. About 3,200 of those are auto claims, and approximately 1,200 of those are homeowner claims. Many homes, of course, suffering from water and sewer backups and things of that nature. The situation is such that, as you know, many neighborhoods are still not accessible, and so there's really no way to tell a full scope of where the final number is going to be, because again, there's just areas that
we're over Central now, but earlier we were in East Baton Rouge Parish. And wow, Denham Springs and Walker, Livingston Parish has just been crushed by this flood. And one thing that we noticed, in just about, it's been pretty consistent with every one of our shots, we've noticed a lot of cars and trucks, is if people left your vehicles there thinking that it wasn't going to flood.
Alright, so as you can tell by them just talking a bunch of crap, they have gone far enough along 190 there to where they are back into the dry areas.
This is Central, which is completely underwater over the weekend. Sorry.
Oh, that's Central.
That's
oh
Central.
yeah, you can see the mud down there in the parking lots. So that's in between here and where we just were. But as far as the overhead shots of the actual water, I'm going to call it a wrap on that. And thanks everyone for watching. Please like this video so as many people as possible can see it and know actually what's really going on down here. We'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below, let us know how you're doing. And share this video on Facebook, Google+, Twitter. Please share it as many places as you can. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay dry. Peace.
Bye.